What is going on, guys? Yes, today we'll be covering how does storm surge work and breaking it down and explaining it. So to start off, we'll do a simple overview then dive deeper. So to start, in Fortnite, storm surge is a mechanic that penalizes players for dealing low damage or remaining alive for too long, especially when the player count is high. It works by inflicting damage on players who haven't inflicted enough damage on others, with the damage escalating over time. This encourages players to engage in combat and eliminate opponents, rather than passively camping. Here's a more detailed breakdown. A damage threshold. The damage threshold is when a player is considered below the damage threshold, they haven't dealt enough damage in the match. The damage thresholds place at Stage 1, 90 players. Stage 3 is also 90 players. Stage 4, 74 players. Stage 5, 76 players. Stage 6, 50 players. Stage 7, 40 players. Stage 8, 36 players. Stage 9, 26 players. This is when storm zones open, Stage 2 being Storm 2 and Stage 9 being Zone 11. Next we have damage inflection. Storm Surge will start to affect players who haven't dealt enough damage, inflicting 25 damage every 5 seconds if you are below the Storm Surge threshold. The damage slowly escalates by how much damage it does a second. Storm Surge increases as the match progresses, particularly when the number of players remaining is higher than it should be. What some casual players do not know is that Storm Surge fully kills you. Some people believe that it only gets you to 25 health remaining, but no, it can fully kill you. The reason Storm Surge was implemented is because people used to just camp. If you look at earlier tournaments like the Summer Smashdown or some of the early Cash Cups like the Buccaneer Cups and ones in Season 8, you will notice that people would just camp and the final zones would have like 90 players left. So Epic Games decided experimenting on how they would fix this. They started adding like prizes for times you do kill people in the match, or of course, what they eventually added, Storm Surge. Storm Surge was added because people just kept on camping, so it's made to reduce people camping in game. People often find that it only shows up in competitive games like solo Cash Cups or FNCS, but it's a rare occasion, but Storm Surge can occasionally show up in ranked and pubs matches. Fortnite's Storm Surge activates when the number of surviving players exceeds a predetermined threshold, the thresholds I was talking about earlier with the stages and zone openings. These predetermined thresholds during specific phases of Fortnite match. The game calculates the average damage dealt by all players and identifies people below the average in a Fortnite match. The question you might now be asking is, how do you avoid Storm Surge? Players who have done the least amount of damage in a game will be hit with a lightning strike that takes off a significant amount of health. To avoid this, players must stay above the Storm Surge threshold by dealing damage to their opponents and other players in the lobby. The next question you could be asking yourself is, what about in team game modes like duos, trios, or squads? In trios, duos, or squads tournaments, damage is out to the entire team. It takes in consideration all the teams and all the averages of every player in the lobby and determines which teams are the most below the Storm Surge threshold. So, keep dealing damage and you will be fine as a team, because Storm Surge affects your whole team. In competition, there is a problem. People don't want to die, so they don't fight. So the Storm Surge mechanic that forces people to fight. There is a maximum amount of people for each zone. Here it is. First zone, 90 players. Second zone, 90 players. Third zone, 78 players. Fourth zone, 64 players. Fifth zone, 54 players. Sixth zone, 44 players. Seventh zone, 40 players. Eighth zone, and next, 30 players. If these zones, for example, the fifth zone, there are the maximum amount of players, let's take 62. There are 8 players more above the cap, which is 54 in that zone. So the game will all de-damage until done. The people with the least amount of damage in the game will take that damage. So if you are a player below Storm Surge threshold, you'll need to fight to get damage and to get above the threshold. And if you're a little above, you also need to fight because the players below you makes damage up so they can get above the threshold. They will get more than you, and you will end up making it below the threshold and die. I will recommend you watch 1 or 2 games of the FNCS Finals, and you will understand very fast on how the game of Storm Surge works. So if you haven't understood anything from this video, if there's too many people in a zone alive, the ones who have done the least amount of damage will start to die 25 damage a second until they are dead. Thank you. I really appreciate you guys for watching. Please try to hit that subscribe button and get this video maybe 100 likes, because that's my next goal. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching, and have an absolute amazing day.